Okay, so okay, people. So once again, welcome back. Okay, today we're not gonna have many people due to the shortcut in the energy that we're gonna have it. So um, in this case, each company will have each I would say each place it will have like different schedule when it comes to like the shortcuts of energy. So I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, but if anything happens that you cannot connect to the class once again, okay, just let me know, all right? Okay. Okay, so let me take the attendance real quick. Yes, Claudia.
Teacher, es que yo le había dicho que hoy día iba a exponer.
Yes,
No sé si
yes.
podría. Ya.
Yeah, for sure. Let me just take the attendance and then you're gonna present, all right?
Ok, teacher.
Okay. Okay, let me take attendance real quick. Okay, let's see who's here. Valeria, she's not here. She told me she's not gonna be able to connect. Okay, who else is not here? Pirina. Pirina's here.
Present, teacher.
Hello, Pirina. Jennifer? Yes, Jennifer is here. Jennifer Miranda, she's not here. Jennifer Bonilla, she's here. Josue, he's not here. Gabriela. Hello,
Present, teacher.
Gabriela. Abigail, she's here. Leonidas, he's not here. Soila. Is Soila around? No. Okay, so Soila definitely is not here. Okay, Claudia, she's here. Okay, we have Jairo.
Present, mister.
Hello, Jairo. Brian, he's not here. Okay, Bianca.
And hi, teacher. Good morning.
Hello, Bianca, morning. Okay, we have Jocelyn, she's there. Anna, she's not here.
Teacher, bueno, ya present.
Uh, Jennifer, okay, got you, thank you. So Jennifer Corozo is not here, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so in this case, let me take real quick the Alticia platform because that's what I usually do at the beginning of the class. I check your guys' progress, and if I have any feedback that I will definitely have it to mention during the class, I will do it. Okay, because remember, people, that we have pretty much like how many weeks? Like 3 more weeks. Look, 3 more weeks, and we're done. Okay, if we finish the class, because the last week pretty much is for you guys' exam. So we have from today, tomorrow, and the next week we have pretty much 2 weeks. I mean 1 week pretty much. Okay, taking into this one, these two, right? Because tomorrow doesn't count because we're gonna have class tomorrow, but we have the next week, and that's pretty much it that we're gonna have it. Okay. So let me check it out real quick. So let's see what we have so far. Okay, so let me check. Let me export. There we go. Okay, so we have 38, 17. Okay, 41. 2 hours. Man. Okay, that's way better. Okay. All right, finished. 60%. Hello, Zoila. Morning. Okay, yes, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm checking this case the progress on Alticia platform, and I will get with you. Okay, no problem. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Let me check somebody else's. Page finished. Okay, 67. Okay. Remember, people, that we are this close to finish the course. So I would really appreciate if you guys can finish, because some people have already finished, as you can see. Okay, and remember that this specific platform worth 2 points. So 2 points that are going to be added to your final average. Okay, that means that the collaborative work that we have so far done, the module platform that we got to finish, and some other stuff are going to be, in this case, included in your final average. Okay, yes, sir. Like, give me 1 sec. Okay, give me 1 sec. You have 50%, Soila. That means that you have to finish. I would say we have 3 more weeks, and that's it. Okay, 2 more weeks for classes, and 1, which is the final one, which is gonna be the exam. And I would strongly recommend that you guys, all of you, finish by the end of the 2nd week, because by the end of the 3rd week, you guys are not gonna have time to finish the platform, the Alticia platform. And that means that once I download the final report, that's the one that I keep. Okay, so if you guys, because remember that this platform closes the very last day of class, this platform closes. So you're not going to be able to advance if you want to advance. Okay, so the moment is right now. If you want to move on forward, let's do it. But once we reach the end of the course, once we reach the end of the course, the 2 months course, we have to make sure that all of those lessons, all of those courses or units in on Alticia platform, they are already finished, because otherwise you are not going to get the 2 points. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Okay, so you have to increase these 50%. Okay, if you see the other ones, for example, taking as an example, look, 100%, she has already finished. Okay, so Jennifer, in this case, she doesn't have to worry about this no more. Okay, because you have already finished. Okay, so the sooner you finish, the better it will be. Okay, the sooner you finish, the better it will be, because you don't have to worry about this, because you already finished this. Okay, the only thing that you have to worry about is going to be the Moodle platform, and that's it. All right, so that will be my recommendation. And for the people who have less than I would say less than 30%, 50%, you have to work a little bit faster, because time flies. And I wouldn't say that you're gonna finish on time, but you're not gonna be able to finish on time if you keep delaying or procrastinating this platform. Okay, so my recommendation will be always try to move forward as possible as you can, because we have to finish, and we have the weeks like really short. And yeah, pretty much I move forward every single class with the Moodle platform, so we try to finish everything in a class. Okay, and the minimum that I require for you to do it is pretty much collaborative works or work, yes, or projects, and that's it. Okay, so that's pretty much the idea. And let's see if we can do it, because I know you guys can do it. So that's it, pretty much it. Okay, we gotta finish. Okay, look, some people are really close. Okay, we are supposed to finish this course by no, I would say November 15, pretty much 15 of November, if I'm not mistaken. But we gotta see. I have to ask for the dates. Okay, so pretty much that's the idea that I want to make sure that you guys keep doing, right? So my recommendation would be always be people try to finish this Alticia platform on time. I am looking at that some people have finished already, so that's not the issue with it. Okay, but in this case, there are some other people that unfortunately have some uh, percentage spend. So my recommendation would be always be try to move forward and try to finish, because we must finish this platform by the end of the course. Okay, so remember, people, that I download the report every single week, meaning that I try to be as content as possible, and try to be, try to keep you updated when it comes to the Alticia platform, especially. Okay. Yes, somebody has a question. No worries. Okay, no worries. Okay, so I think Claudia has to present something, so I'm gonna stop sharing, and Claudia, the screen is all yours.
Mm, ok. No sé qué pasó. Okay, good morning. Good morning, teacher and students. I'd like to talk about my university career. I am studying law, and I'm in the 8th semester in presential modality. I have learned about how the legal system of our country operates, and most important, how its regulation work. I've learned how to resolve conflicts in a real and appropriate manner for those in need. In the field of law, one can practice in various ways, such as legal consultant, notary, public prosecutor, or even as a teacher. Personally, I would like to work as a judge for children and adolescents, or a criminologist. The importance of law in society is protect individuals' rights, administer justice, and regulate certain behaviors to maintain order. As I mentioned, I would like to become a court for children and adolescents. I think it takes a lot of courage because it deals with many cases of abandoned or abused children. In these cases, decisions are made in the best interest of the safety and well-being of children and adolescents. I have many plans, and one of them is that after I graduate, I would like to study criminology in Argentina, and 2, legal science, and work in a law firm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much. Okay, let me just take a look about in this case. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at the presentation, so Okay. Can you put the second slide? Yeah, that one, number 2. Okay, I remember that when we are asking questions, specifically questions, we say what's, if you want to make a contraction, what's, or what is. Okay, but what your career? No, okay, just what is or what's your career, okay? Also, we don't use the question mark at the beginning because we in English that doesn't exist, okay? We use question mark always at the end, okay? What your career? What is your career? Okay, so that's pretty much the information. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Sure. Somebody has to give a message. Okay. So, go on. Okay.
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Muy buenos días. Soy el infopedagogo de la Academia de Idiomas. Un mensaje importante para ustedes porque veo que hay muchas cámaras apagadas. Entonces, recordarles, vengo de parte del director, que la cámara apagada significa inasistencia. Un simple recordatorio para que al final pues no tengan problemas con completar ese porcentaje necesario. Listo, muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. In this case, as you guys know it, I'm not the only one who actually says it, right? So, I've been trying to communicate exactly the same idea, but as I mentioned, people, it relies on yourself. Okay. So, coming back in this case to Claude's presentation. Okay, and yes, okay, remember that we gotta take out the question mark at the beginning. Okay, so we'd say just what your career is. Okay. Yes. El signo de interrogación al principio, we take it away. Excellent, yes. That's what we have. What is your career? Or what's your career? There you go, way better. Okay, yes, thank you so much. Okay, that's what we have so far. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, Claudia, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. I like your presentation.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Okay, let me just put it, in this case, on the record. So, so. All right, so let's continue with our class then. Okay, so let's see what we have for today. Yes, Bianca?
Sí, teacher, le quería hablar sobre el video de Flip. Ya, lo que sucede es que yo grabé el video de Flip, pero al momento que yo lo trataba de cargar a la plataforma, no pude. Entonces, no sé cómo le puedo hacer, porque yo guardé mi video para que no se pierda. Entonces, No sé.
Let me see. Let me see. But do you record it on the platform or do you record it outside?
No,
The-
on platform.
You record it on the platform. Okay, let me check it out.
But when I want to put in the platform, the platform said it's not correct, your church. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, let me just check it out. Okay. Give me
But
one. sec.
I save it in my cell phone, so I don't know if I can send the video on WhatsApp or I need to record again the video.
Let me check it out because what happened with my account?
Buenos días, teacher.
Hello, Ana.
Ay, Diosito. Ay, Diosito santo. Ay, no se conecta esto.
Okay, so let me check it out. Okay, Jocelyn, Claudia, Veronica. Okay, gotcha. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna open up in this case so you can record it. Okay, so yes. Okay, I'm going to open up in this case, Bianca. I am gonna open up in this case this topic so you can upload it here because I want that video here. The video is supposed to be right here. Okay, so can you check it out if you can upload it right now? Do me a favor. Check it out if you can upload it right now. If not, let me know, okay? Because I have to make sure if this part is already well set it, right? So that's my concern about it. Okay, so meanwhile, you give me a confirmation. Okay, I'm gonna continue in this case with the class, right? Okay, so we'll finish that part. Excellent. Okay, yes. Okay, so we stopped right here, if I am not mistaken. Yes, okay, which is the class that we're gonna see for today. Okay, so let me put the presentation that I have prepared for you, and we're going to start our class. Okay, so. Okay, so let me put this one. Okay, let me present this part. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, people. So today I'm going to introduce a new topic, or two new topics. Okay. Most of the time we cover this part separately. Unfortunately, because of the time that we are running out of, I have to do it all together. Okay, but in this case, I'm gonna take more time explaining one and the other. Okay, so I'm going to divide it, but in this presentation, they are going to be included all together. Okay, so in this case, I am pretty sure that you guys have heard expressions such as cheaper, better, closer, farther, more interesting, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the words that I am using that I have put in the chat, okay, are pretty much words that we use in our daily life conversation, especially in daily life conversation. What for and why? Because every single time, for example, when we go shopping, we are comparing everything. Okay, which one is better? If it's the blue one or the red one? Which one is cheaper? If it's the black one or the white one? Which one is more expensive? If it's the big one, the big one, or the tiny one, or the small one. Okay, every single time we are comparing stuff. Okay, that's why the first topic that we are going to see are called comparative adjectives. Okay. Some information regarding that part, okay, regarding this specific topic, is that we are going to use pretty much adjectives. For now, adjectives, okay? As you can recall, as you can remember, the adjectives, okay? And if not, I can help you with that definition. The adjectives are the ones who or which give qualities to the noun. Another definition can be describe the noun or pronouns. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, in this case, the adjectives are the ones that they give us a specific description about something. Okay, for example, talking about people, some of you are tall, some of you are short. Okay, some of you are skinny, some of you are a little bit chubby. Okay, some of you are have I don't know, black hair. Some of you have brown hair. Some of you are, I don't know, you have curly hair. So every single adjective that we can use, it's because we are giving an actual description about each person, each object, or each animal. Okay, adjectives are widely used more precisely when it comes to giving descriptions. Okay, so you can give descriptions almost to everything. Okay, why? Because description is pretty much how we appreciate or we perceive things. Okay, so in this case, the first set of adjectives that we are going to see are the ones that we normally know, the ones that we talked about a lot in this class, and I try to use it as everyday as possible, or as common as possible, right? So in this case, we are going to have the first definitions. Okay, the first definition that we are going to have in this place are intrinsically related with the ones that we already know. Okay, for example, the main difference between comparative and superlative is first, we are going to use comparative adjectives or comparative to compare no more than two objects, people, or animals. No more than two things. Okay, which one is better, the iPhone 13 or the iPhone 15? Which one plays soccer better, Barcelona or Emelec? Who is better? Okay, so that's the way that we are going to use it. Okay, who, I don't know, which I prefer, chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? Okay, where do I want to go? I want to go to the cinema or I want to go to the theater. Okay, so we compare only two things, It can be people, it can be objects, it can be animals. Okay, which one are better, cats or dogs? Okay, so that's the way that we are going to compare two things. Okay, so generally speaking, okay, I would recommend, okay, that the maximum it's gonna be only two things. Okay, why two things? Because it's usually used for two things. Okay, this one or the other one. Okay, we can use it for more things, yes, but you're going to see that superlatives are way better. Comparatives, only two things, but superlatives, they help us to do way more comparisons. Okay, when you use superlatives, you don't compare only two things. You compare 1,000 things at the same time. Okay, if I ask you, who is the best soccer player? Okay, that is a superlative question, because in the world are millions and millions and millions of soccer players. And from that group, I can choose only one. Who is the best? Okay, who is the best singer in the world, in the whole world? Okay, so that's why I prefer to use the definitions that comparative, we use it to compare only two things, and superlative, 1,000 things. Okay, in other words, comparatives are specific. Superlatives are general. Why? Because superlatives, they have 1,000 things to compare at the same time. Okay, so talking about something else, for example, if I ask you, what is the best makeup product? If I ask, what is the best brand for makeup? What would you say? What is the best brand for makeup? What would you say? Good question. Okay. In the word.
Teacher, what is the meaning of brand?
Brand, la marca.
Ah,
The brand. If I ask you, what is the best brand for makeup? What would you say? Interesting.
I don't use makeup.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else? For example, Claudia, what is the best brand for makeup? According to you. According to you. Perhaps the one that you use, perhaps something that someone has recommended.
I don't use too much makeup, but I like a lot lip gloss.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yes, okay. Why not? Okay, and any brand, alguna marca en específica, any specific brand? Or it's just any lip gloss?
Any
Okay,
lip
thank you.
gloss.
Okay, thank you. Gabriela, what about you? What is the best brand for makeup, according to you?
No me maquillo,
You
solo
don't?
skincare.
Okay,
No.
skincare, nice, thank you. Okay, let's see another girl. Okay, let's see, what about Pirina? What about you, Pirina? What is the best brand for makeup?
I use Rimmel and Base and
Okay.
the NYX.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jennifer, what about you? Any brand? Any specific brand?
I am not makeup.
You don't use makeup. Okay, let
No.
me change the question then, okay? What is the best clothing brand? What is the best clothing brand? Okay, what is the best clothing brand? What do you think?
Sarah.
Okay, Zara. Okay, Zara. Any other clothing brand that you guys can come up with? Zara. Okay, any other?
I like New York and Company.
Okay, New York and Company. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Tommy. Tommy, it's better too.
Okay, Tommy Hilfiger. Okay, let me put TMH. Okay, Tommy Hilfiger. Okay. What about Polo? Does anybody like Polo here? No. Okay. What about talking about international brands? Mhm. Okay, we have exactly. Okay. Yes, that's another one. Okay, another brand I can come up with. I always look for clothes and I cannot recall any brand right now. Okay, yes. Does anybody like American Eagle? Does anybody like American Eagle brand, the clothing brand? Okay, okay. Some of you say yes, some of you say no, all right? What about I have a sweater with that brand? Jeez. What about Forever 21? Yes, right? Forever 21 is really good, right? Okay, so in this case, my idea, my aim with those questions is to let you know when do we use comparative and when do we use superlative, okay? Okay, coming back to superlative, what if I ask you which okay, let me put it. Which ice cream flavor is better? I'm gonna put chocolate or vanilla.
morning.
Hello, Sebastian. Morning. Or
Mister, perdón,
strawberry. Yes.
¿Hasta cuándo, hasta qué fecha se puede hacer lo de Alicia? O sea, ¿hasta cuál es la fecha límite?
By the end of the course. I would say 1 week before the end of the course.
Ah, ya, muchas gracias.
No problem. Okay, so which ice cream flavor is better, chocolate or strawberry? According to you?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Okay, one vote for strawberry.
A strawberry too.
A strawberry. Anybody else? Do we have chocolate people? Okay, chocolate. We have one vote for chocolate. We have 2 votes for strawberry. We have 2 votes for okay, 3 votes for chocolate, 2 votes for strawberry. Anybody else? Okay, I have some chocolate lovers here. Okay, anybody else?
Chocolates.
4 votes for chocolate, 2 votes for strawberry. Okay, anybody
Chocolate.
else? Chocolate, 5 votes for chocolate. Nobody likes strawberry, really? You know?
No.
Why? Strawberry is good. It's really good. Trust me, it's really good. How many of you? I know that this might
Banana.
sound. I'm sorry.
With banana, it's better.
With banana. Okay, for example, how many of you have gone to McDonald's? I would say all of you have gone to McDonald's, right? Have you tried to dip the French fries with strawberry ice cream? Have you tried that? Never? Or have you tried to mix the strawberry or whatever the ice cream that you're eating at McDonald's with French fries?
Yes.
How does it taste? Really good, right?
Really
I
good.
don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, when I first tried it, it was like, hell no, that's disgusting. But when I ate it, it was like, wow, I have never tried that before. Trust me. And I'm like a really picky person when it comes to food. For example, when I have my lunch and for some reason somebody give me something sweet, I eat whatever that sweet is at the end. But I've known people that they are eating something salty and they mix in with sweet. I don't like that. Okay, I either eat salty or sweet. It's one or the other. But when I tried French fries and ice cream, it was crazy. It was like it was something like you know that some people might think that is nasty, that is like disgusting. But when you eat it, it's like this is really good. And you keep eating more and more and more and more. It's really good. You gotta do it. I mean, at least once in your life. Okay. I have experience about that one as well. I remember that I went with
Did you see the movie where it's a rat, a chef rat,
Mm-hmm.
Italian movie of Disney? Yeah, you were
Yes.
like the rat with the rat taste the grape and the cheese at the same time and
Mm-hmm.
have it alert.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
like explosion of flavors in which like that's what I'm saying. Some food are meant to be mixed. Not all of them, not all the food that we have, right? But we have like sometimes we can experience explosion of flavors, and it's crazy. It's crazy how the flavor changes. It's crazy. So that's what we're gonna have so far, right? I remember that I went to McDonald's with my sister when I had the experience when I first tried it. She was the one who told me, "Why don't you try this?" I was like, "No, hell no, that's disgusting." But she told me, "Try it out, just give it a shot." I was like, "Okay, just give it a shot." Next to me on my left side, there was like a family, right? With their kids and so on and so forth. And when we ordered the food, some people in McDonald's, they brought us our food, right? And I bought the ice cream, I bought the French fries, I bought some combos so we can all eat together with my sister. And she told me to try it out because I had the French fries next to the ice cream. So I just opened up the ice cream. I took one French fry and I dip it on the ice cream. I was like I'm not gonna like this, okay? And the people who were sitting on my left side were looking at us, and they were like, "What you doing?" When I dipped my French fries in the ice cream and I ate it, they were like, "That's disgusting." And they look somewhere else. Trust me, they look somewhere else because not everybody does the same thing. No todo el mundo coge papas fritas y las mete en el helado y se las come. People might think that you're crazy or you're weird. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. But in this case, never mind. From now on, every time that I go to McDonald's, I order ice cream, French fries, and my burger. And I eat my burger with my Coca-Cola and my French fries with the ice cream. It's really nice. Okay. Yes. Okay. So coming back to our topic, people, in this case, you see what the difference is, right? Comparative, we're going to compare two things. Superlative, more than two things. Okay, 1,000 things if you can say. Okay. So when it comes to the structure, how can we create or how can we put comparatives? Comparative are really, really easy. Okay. In this case, we're gonna have we have to take a look at a few rules, especially with comparative and superlative. Okay. If you know the rules, if you can handle the rules in comparative, you are not gonna have any trouble with the superlative rules, okay? Because they compare exactly the same thing. Okay, for example, number one, comparative are used to compare two things, to people, or to places. Of course, the information that I just given you. Okay, you can use sentences with than or without than, or you can use a conjunction. Okay, my recommendation. Okay, even though here it says that we can omit the than, my recommendation will be if you are comparing more, in this case, two things, two people, or two places, use the than. Okay, so that's the rule number one. Okay, we have rule number one. Okay, and I'm gonna put in the chat so you guys can write it down and never forget about it. Okay, when we use comparatives with adjectives, we must include the than. Okay, in this case, the than is not optional. Okay, the than is mandatory. Okay, we have to include the than. For example, a share house is cheaper than a dorm. Okay, my phone is cheaper than an iPhone. My house is bigger than my friend's. Okay, my car is cheaper than my dad's. Okay, but always, all the time, use than. Why? Because we are comparing two things. Okay, later on, we are going to see how can we omit the than. Okay, but for now, I want you to remember that we are going to compare adjective and we have to use the than. Okay, so the structure by itself, okay, and I want you to write this down. The structure by itself, when it comes to comparatives, is the following. We're going to have subject. Next to a subject, we're going to have the verb to be if it's present, okay, present or past, depending on the case. Okay, remember that verb to be is, or are, depending if it's singular, plural, or the pronoun that you have, okay? We are going to put the adjective, but the adjective has to go in the comparative form. All the time in the comparative form. If it's bigger, if it's lighter, if it's stronger. Okay. Plus, we are going to put the than. The than is extremely important. Okay. All the time we're going to use than. Okay. After we have done the than, or we have used the than. Okay. We ended up with the complement. Okay. But those parts right there are the key factors that we are going to use. Are the ones that we must understand and the ones that we must take a look, okay? The ones we must take into account, okay? So the structure for comparative are the verb, the subject, the verb to be, okay? If it's is, or are, okay? The adjective, of course, we're gonna use adjectives, okay? The then, but remember, the adjective goes in the comparative way or the comparative form, okay? Plus the than, because we're comparing two things, and the complement. My house is bigger than my friend's. My dad is taller than my mom. My sister is shorter than me. Okay, but every single time we have to put the than. Why? Because the than is the one that makes the comparison. Not only the adjective by itself, but also the than. Okay. On the other hand, we are going to have the structure for superlatives, which is pretty much close to the one that we have put for comparative, right? Superlative. So for superlative, we are going to have the subject plus the verb to be once again. Okay, is or are. Once we have done the verb to be, we have to put the adjective. But the adjective no longer is going to use the comparative. It's going to be in the superlative form. Okay. Once we have done, in this case, once we have put in this case the adjective in the superlative form, we have to put it in this case the. Okay. Some adjectives are going to include the word the. Okay. Some of them, not all of them, but they are going to include the word the best. Okay, the best. In the case of superlative, remember that in comparative we used to use than. In superlative we use the best, the most expensive, depending on the type of I would say the type of let's call it for some way the type of adjective that I have, because in adjective we have regulars and irregular adjectives, so we're gonna make that difference in a moment. Okay, and the complement. Okay, that's it. Okay, the subject, the verb. After the verb, we're going to put the best, and in this case, the adjective has to go in the superlative form. Once we have completed that, we add the complement, and that's it. That's how we finish. All right. So, people, up to this point, does anybody have any questions? Up to this point, does anybody have any questions? No? No questions? No, we're good? All right, so let's keep going. Okay. So I want you to take a look at a few examples that I have posted right there. Okay, this is pretty much how we are going to use comparative. Okay. In this case, cheap has only one syllable. That means cheap, one clap. Okay, cheap. So because cheap has one syllable, okay, the only thing that I have to add for the ones that they have one syllable, it's the ER. Okay, and that's it. Cheaper than. Finished. Okay, so for the ones that they only have one syllable, I can do that. Cheaper. Okay, I can say bigger. I can say shorter. Okay, I am going to show you a list in which you are going to find those examples, the ones we only have one syllable, and we only have to add ER. Okay, cheaper, bigger, shorter, smaller, okay, faster, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, but in this case, the ones that only have one syllable, ER. That's it, and the done, pretty much. Okay, we have noisy. Okay, do you remember what happens in the present simple when we had a verb, in this case, with Y letter? And if we wanted to conjugate in third person, we used to take the Y letter and put IES, right? Something similar is going to happen here, but instead of putting IES, we are going to put IER, noisier. Okay, noisier than apartments. Okay, that's pretty much the idea. Okay, of course, we are going to have in this case some adjectives that they have more than one syllable. In this case, two syllables, not ending in a Y or Y letter. Okay, or in this case, we're going to have two adjectives with more than two syllables, which might be another option. Okay, so what happens with the ones in this case that they have more than two syllables? Okay, depending if it's because in this case we're gonna have two options. We can put, in the case of common, we can put commoner, okay, or more common. Okay, commoner is not that often used, but people usually say more common. It's more common to say that. Okay. And as you can see in all of those examples, we are gonna have, or we have to use the that, obviously, all the time. We have to use the that. Okay. This is the part where I told you something was going to change, right? We are gonna have in this case some examples about irregular adjectives. In that specific situation, when it comes to regular adjectives, they do gonna change. They are going to change, and because of that, we have to make sure that they don't change, and they change from their root. Okay, for example, if somebody asks you for the comparative of the verb good, you're not going to say gooder, because gooder, it's wrong. That means that gooder doesn't exist. Okay? If they ask you for bad, the same thing. Badder, it's wrong because badder doesn't exist. If they ask you for good, the comparative way, you say better. If they ask you for bad, the comparative way, you say worse. Okay? If they ask you for good, but in the superlative way, you say the best. But if they ask you for bad in the superlative way, you say the worst. Okay? For example, they ask you for much, which is a quantifier, you're going to say more. If they ask you for many, you're going to use exactly the same one. You're going to use more. But if they ask you for much and many, in the superlative way, you're going to say the most. Okay? That's how it works. Okay? As easy as that. Okay? Some other, for example, we are going to have in this case the word far, which has two different translations. Okay, you can say the superlative form, you can say farther. I'm sorry, the comparative form, you can say further with a or further with u. This is the comparative form, by the way. Okay, the comparative form. But far in the superlative form is going to change a bit. Okay, when you use far, it's going to be the farthest or the furthest. Okay, but that one is the superlative combination. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, in this case, this chart was specifically for comparative. The ones from the superlative, it's down there. Okay, as you guys can see right here, we are going to have the cheapest. Okay, and in this case, they don't change that much, but we have to check about some rules regarding that specific chart. Okay. Okay, some recommendations, okay, that we have to avoid because this mistakes people made it a lot. Okay, if you are already using the more, for example, you can say more cheap. Okay, you can't say more cheaper because you're being redundant. Is that we have in Spanish, más mejor. It doesn't sound right, right? So if you use more, but the adjective, it's already in the comparative form, you're being redundant. So in this case, it says number one, do not use both ER or more in the same comparative. Okay, Lisa is more taller. Lisa is taller. That's it. Okay, then, okay, most of the time, I would say all the time, the than follows after the adjectives. Okay, for example, I cannot say I am than older. I am older than. I am older than my sister. Okay, but we never say I am than older. Absolutely not. Okay, and number three, less can sound awkward with one syllable adjective. To avoid this, use the comparative form of the adjective with the opposite meaning. I am less tall than my brother. That sounds awkward. I am shorter. Okay, I am shorter than my brother. Some adjectives are going to sound weird. Okay, in that specific situation, we are going to have in this case, we can turn it out. We can use another adjective that they have like a similar meaning. Okay, so we avoid being redundant. Okay, so people up to this point, does anybody have any questions up to this specific point? Does anybody have any questions? No questions? Sure? Is everything clear? Yep, we got it? All right, okay. Okay, so let's practice then. Let's do a little bit of practice, okay? Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got. Okay, so let's see. Okay, people, so feel free to join. Okay, that's the code. Okay, that's the pin. Okay, and you can join whenever you're ready for. Okay, in this case, it's pretty much about comparative. Okay, only comparative. That's it. Okay, give me just 2 minutes. I'm gonna get some water, and I'm gonna be right back. All right. So we are back. Okay. I'm sorry for the late. I want to get some water. Okay, so let's see how many people are we right now. We are 9 and we have 8. Okay, let's start. Okay, the south is hotter. Okay, in this case, something interesting happens here. Do you remember when I told you that some one syllable adjective, we have to double the last letter? So it's hotter than, okay, this one, it's right, but it needs to have another T, okay? That's why it's hotter with double T, right?
Profe, tengo inconvenientes, no me salen las preguntas ni respuestas, solo me salen colores, porque este es del
Sí,
teléfono.
A mí
solamente
igual.
Sí,
Really?
salen los
no,
colores
igual
nomás.
no me sale.
Okay,
Sí, a
let
mí
me just
entonces,
let
no
me
sé qué
just
está pasando.
okay, let me
Pensé que...
just close it. Okay, let me close it.
No, no, teacher, tienen que leer las preguntas desde su pantalla, por eso salen solamente los colores. Ellos leen la
Mm,
respuesta en su pantalla y tienen que aplastar el color correcto. Es como que otro modo de juego, por así decirlo.
yeah, let me either way, I'm gonna put in this case your questions and answers for you to see that, okay? So let me know what can you see, right? What about now? It's better? Yes, busier. Yes, nice. It's colder. Uh-huh. It's colder then. Absolutely colder. It happens exactly the same. We don't say more colder, we say colder than. His last book is okay, but I think it is worse than the previous one. Exactly. We were comparing two things. Bother, bother doesn't exist. Okay, so let's continue then. Some people been texting right now. Okay, we have they arrived earlier than us. Yes, nice, very good. Please, can you drive? Okay, we have more slow. Let's see, show media. Okay, in this one, you can use two options. Slower, okay, slowlier doesn't exist. We have more slowly, yes. My current job is more stressful than my last job. Absolutely, yes. The clues here are done. This is a comparison. We have good. Okay, better, absolutely. More better, better.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. York is a bit further. Further. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's further than I thought. Nice. I hope your teams luck here. Yes, luck here. Nice. They are happier in their new school than they are in their old school. Yes, in the old one. Nice, perfect. Tastier. Tastier. And last one, let's see what we have. Mhm. She's worse. Worse with E and not with T, because we're talking in this case about a comparison. Okay, so let's skip this part, okay? So in this case, I wanted to show you something, okay, in terms of how they're gonna change, okay? Something that is pretty much a more summarized way to say it, okay? So in this case, we know that comparative are only used for two things, okay? But in this case, I wanted to show you some rules that we are gonna have, okay? The rule number one is the one that you guys already know. When we have one regular, one syllable adjective, we add er. For example, we have fast, short. In the case of a small, but we have to double. In this case, I'm sorry, we have to put er because it's small, because we have fast, short, small. Bigger, not because we have to double the last consonant, so bigger doesn't fit in that category, but that's one syllable adjective. Okay. So we have, for example, fast, faster. Okay, that's pretty much the one that you guys already know, right? With regular ones, 1 and 2 syllable adjectives, that's the one that I told you. In this case, we are going to change it and we are going to take it out the Y letter and we are going to add the IER. Okay, for example, happier. Okay. Rule number 3, in this case, with adjectives that end in a single vowel and they're followed by a single consonant. Okay, that means that we have to double, in this case, we double the last consonant and we add ER. For example, big, bigger. Okay, it's happening exactly the same thing. We're talking about big, bigger. Okay, only, but it needs to have the following structure. Vowel, consonant. It has consonant, vowel, It has to have vowel and consonant. That's it. Okay. Rule number 4, with 2-syllable adjectives that don't end in Y letter and all 3-syllable adjectives, we add more. For example, beautiful is a very good example about that. We say more beautiful. Okay. We say intelligent. We say more intelligent. Okay. We say handsome. We say more handsome. Okay. And there are many others which we are going to use pretty much. Okay. And of course, we are going to have irregular adjectives, such as good, better, bad, worse, far, or further. I told you that we are going to have two ways to say this. We can say with you or R or A, I'm sorry, depending on the I would say the accent sometimes, because further it's British and farther is American. Okay. Well, better. Okay. If you see well, it has the same comparative adjective as it has good. Okay. And we have much more, many more. Okay. And that's it. Okay. So people, before we continue on to the next stage, okay, is it clear? Do you get the idea? Yes. Okay. Especially these rules. When do we add more and when do we put or double the consonant? Especially these two. Okay, especially those two rules, because you have to be aware of that we have to change some things regarding that specific situation. Okay, I just want to have that clear. I want you to have that clear so we can move on. All right. Yes. Okay, I hope. Okay, so on the other side, we are going to have superlative adjective, which are pretty much closer to the ones that we know, right? In this case, we are going to compare 3 or more things. Obviously, I gave you one example in which we are comparing more than 3 things. We are comparing 1,000 things, for example, okay, 1,000 things. Or, okay, sometimes we don't only compare 3 things. Okay, it doesn't have to be 3 things. It can be more than 3 things, depending on what do I want to see, what do I want to tell, what do I want to communicate, right? So making superlative is very easy. Okay, in this case, we have to change the adjective into the superlative way or form. Okay. And as a comparison, remember that we used to have, in comparative, we used to have small, smaller, but in the superlative, we have, in this case, the smallest. Okay, that's the smallest car I've ever seen. Okay, and that's why we use the superlative way or superlative form. Okay, the rules are pretty much closer or almost exactly the same that we had in this case a moment ago. Okay, we are going to have that in this case we have with 1 syllable adjective, we have to add the est. Remember that we don't, in superlative, we don't add the er, we add the est. We add fastest. Okay, we have the tallest, we have the smallest. Okay, est, that's how it works. Okay, In this case, fast, faster is a comparative way, but the superlative one is fastest. The fastest animal alive. Okay, that's it. Rule number 2, which is pretty much the same that we had, the one that we had, but the only difference it's gonna be in this case the way that I conclude. In this case, I change or I take it off I take out the Y letter and I put the IEST, which is pretty much like the one that we have in comparative, but we only put IER. Okay, in this situation we are going to put IEST. Okay. For example, happy, happier, the happiest. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, with adjectives that end with a single vowel, do you remember that this is pretty much what we had? And we also have followed by a single consonant. Okay, we double the last consonant. For example, big, bigger, and the biggest. Okay. And number 4, the ones that we have more than 2 syllables or 3 syllables, we had to put the most. For example, the most beautiful, the most handsome, the most intelligent person I know, the most resilient person that I know. Okay, so adjectives, they go and they come and go. Okay, so but it's extremely important that we know how to use them, right? So people, up to this specific point, do you have any questions? No, there are no questions. Okay, let's continue then. Okay, in this case, we're gonna jump right into our platform. Okay, because we gotta continue doing. Okay, in this case, this is pretty much like a review about the things that we have so far done. Okay, so let's take a look at the questionnaire number 1A. Okay, we have questionnaire number 1A. Write sentences with a comparative adjective or adverb plus than. Okay, we check information about adjective and adverbs, right? Adverbs, before we jump into that, okay, do you remember what do adverbs describe? Do you remember what do adverbs describe? And I mentioned it.
The emotions.
Those are adjectives. Adverbs describe something else. Do you remember? Interesting. What do adverbs describe? Do you remember? Interesting. Okay. I can give you a hint. Action. But that's not the word. If I say action, the grammatical word that I use, starts with V, E,
Describe.
verbs. Absolutely, yes. They do describe verbs. Remember, adverbs describe verbs. Okay, they describe the action by itself. Adjectives, okay, adjectives, like Bianca mentioned, they describe people, okay, objects, and animals. But adverbs, they describe the verb, being more precisely. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, so let's take a look and let's see if we can do this. Okay, we have write sentences with a comparative adjective or adverb plus than. We have number 1. Modern computers are much. Where's the comparative of the verb fast?
Faster.
Faster than. Remember, faster than. Okay, my sister is. Comparative of the verb tall. Of the adjective tall.
Taller.
Taller than.
Taller.
Uh-huh. What about number 3? We have I am.
Busier.
Okay. Busy is an adverb. And also is an adjective sometimes. I am more busy this week than last week. I am more busy. Okay. Newcastle is
More far.
more far from London. Okay. More far from London than Leeds. Okay. What about number 5? I thought the third man in black films was.
Teacher, in the number 4 is more far than, but in the first part it's more far. You put in the second part.
Is more. Okay, yes, got it. Thank you. Thank you for the heads up. More far from
And in the
London
second,
than. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the heads up. Okay, yes. What about number 5? I thought the third man in black film
Worse
was
than. Worse than.
worse than. Yes, worse than. Worse than. Remember that if you put words with E, that's a comparative. If you put words with T, that's a superlative. Okay, worst, el peor. Okay, Manchester United played
Better than.
better than Arsenal. Okay, the French exam was
harder.
harder than the German. My new job is boring is an adjective, by the way. But was
More
it
boring.
boring? More boring. More
Than.
boring than.
Than.
Okay. My new apartment is. Come on, easy peasy.
More bigger.
Bigger than.
Okay, bigger
Bigger.
than. Yes, bigger than. If you say more bigger, that's being redundant. And number 10, what do we have? I am not lazy. I just
work
more slowly.
More slowly than you.
More slowly.
We can say more slowly, yes. Okay, we can say more slowly than you. Okay, I hope the system accepts it. Okay, because sometimes this platform is crazy. Okay, let's check it out. If we are absolutely right or absolutely wrong. Okay, which one did we miss? Okay, we can say busier than. Okay, yes, busier than. And further than, yes. Okay, so remember that in this case, far is only one, it's one syllable. So we cannot put more. We can say further. Okay, do you remember the one that I showed you? Okay, let me put it back in case you don't. Okay, when I show you the presentation about comparative, okay, we mentioned that in this case, we say far. Okay, far is one of those irregular adjectives that we do have to put in the way it should be. Okay. Okay, just for you to take a look. Okay. That one. Okay, we say further. Okay, we say further because it's only one syllable. Far. You clap and we say far, or you snap. Far. Okay, that's how it goes. Okay, but more far. Okay, let's see. Let's continue then. Okay, let me change it. Okay, so we have busier than. In this case, busy, it's an adjective. So we change the E, the Y letter, and we put IER. Busier than. Okay, let's continue then. Okay. And we are going to stop right here because this is pretty much a new way to make comparatives. Okay, and I have explained that before we jump into the next one. Okay. So this part of making comparative is really easy, especially because it doesn't require that much. Okay, but I have explained that. Okay, let me just. Okay, give me 1 sec. Okay, this one is. Okay. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, so in this case, a moment ago, we checked some information about comparatives with the adjectives, right? But there's another way in which we can make comparisons. Okay, we are going to use something extremely easy. Okay, the word as, or the structure as, plus the adjective plus as. Okay, so in this case, this one, okay, comparative with as, they let us use only two things, only two things. I cannot compare more than two things. Okay, meaning that I can choose only one. I get to choose only one thing. Which one is cleaner? Which one is better? Which one is taller? Which one is more intelligent? Okay, but in the case of the use of as, we are going to see that as, it doesn't require that much. Okay, following up the structure, if you can check it out, you can check it out. It's as simple as that. We can create questions, we can create statements, we can create sentences by just putting as. Okay, my dog is as clean as yours. Okay, my mom is as beautiful as yours. Okay, if you notice, the adjective in the middle doesn't change. If it's clean, goes clean. If it's beautiful, goes beautiful. If it's smart, goes smart. It's the same comparison. But this one right here is a more complex way to do it. Of course, I can say my cat is cleaner than yours. Of course I can say that. But it would sound better if you say my cat is as clean as that one. My bedroom is as big as my dad's. Okay. My grades at school are as good as my sister. Okay. So by using the comparative, in this case, as, we are trying to find similarities between things. Okay. For example, if I am tall, I can say, my dad is as tall as me. We both are tall, my dad and I. Okay, but you'll find similarities, things that are similar in some ways. Okay, so another example, Mary is as cute as Jane. They both are cute. Okay, they both are cute, but another way to say is, okay, why should I choose one when I can say that they are both are cute, right? So Mary is as cute as Jane. They both are cute. Another example, things that are different. Yes, of course. Not only for similarities, but also for things that are different. In which sense? In which way? In the following way. Okay. The Mona Lisa is not as old as some flowers, of course. But if you notice, the only thing that changes is the conjugation of the verb to be. Okay, this comparative way we can use it in present and in past. Sometimes in future as well, right? But it will depend on what you want to communicate. What's your idea? Okay, that's the main difference. That's the main target. Okay, and of course, it will be different from one to the other eventually. Okay, so my recommendation will be always be before you guys make a comparison. Please check it out if you want to use or if you are going to use one comparative way, which is the one that I showed you, and the one that you're seeing out right now. Okay. The only way to infer this is by checking which are the similarities and which are the differences between those. Okay, that's the only way possible. All right. So the Mona Lisa is not as old as sunflowers, of course. Okay, so I am saying that the sunflowers, the sunflowers painting is older than the Mona Lisa. That's the idea. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So Terry is not as small as Tom. Or Terry isn't as small as Tom. That's the idea behind it. That's what I want to communicate, and that's what I have to communicate. All right. So remember that we can say in this case, we can use this way of comparison by saying stuff which have similarities or differences. That's the way to work. That's how it works. All right. And of course, adjectives. We are going to use adjective for every single time. Okay. Again, if you see the adjective doesn't change. When you're using as a comparison, the adjective doesn't change. If it's comfortable, goes comfortable. If it's clean, goes clean. Okay. If it's beautiful, goes beautiful. If it's smart, goes smart. All right. So that's pretty much the idea that you have to be aware of, that you have to learn. All right. So the pants are not as comfortable as my jeans. Of course. Okay. So the idea that you're going to communicate, that will rely on the fact of what do you want to say? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to communicate? Right? And that's how it works, pretty much. All right. Yes. Somebody have a question? No? No questions? No? Okay. So in this case, this works with adjective, but also they work with nouns. Okay. What is the noun here? Time. Okay. She spent as little time as possible on her makeup. Okay. In other words, she doesn't spend too much time. That's the idea. That's the implication. Okay. Adverbs, of course. We can use as with adjective, with verbs, with nouns and adverbs. Of course. I don't like the short hair as much as long hair. Much. Okay. That's what we have. Okay. So people, questions. I know that we are going to, I am going real quick. Okay. A little bit fast, but it's because I want to cover all of those topics, okay, by today, so we can left some space for a collaborative project that we have upcoming. Okay, so people, questions. Does anybody have any question? No? Is it clear? Yes. Okay, so okay, now that we have practiced a little bit of comparative, I want to practice a little bit of superlative. So let's see what we have so far. Okay, so okay, so feel free to join people. We're gonna play a quizzes right here. That is the link, and that one is a go. Okay, so feel free to join and let me know where can we start. Okay. Yep, somebody's missing. One person is missing, so let's wait for that person to join. Okay, so let's start. Okay. Okay, so let's check. Okay. Okay, so let's see what are the questions that we perhaps make some mistakes, all right? Okay, we have question. This one is right. Okay, what happened here? Antarctica is the, by looking at the, I know for sure that that's superlative. Okay, colder, I cannot say colder because it says on Earth. How many places on Earth do we have? We have millions and millions and millions, right? So I cannot say the colder and not even the most cold, okay? Because cold is only one syllable adjective, so it has est at the end. Okay, the coldest. This one we have. This is the most boring movie I've ever seen. Yes, more boring. No, it cannot be because that's now a comparison. That is a superlative. So boringest doesn't exist. Okay. Oxygen is the cheapest natural resource. The most cheap? No. Again, cheap is only one syllable adjective. So I cannot put the most cheap because the most we use for the ones that they have more than 3 syllables. For example, beautiful, the most beautiful. Intelligent, the most intelligent. Okay. So that's why. Russia is the biggest country in the world. Yes. David is the tallest person in our English class. Absolutely. Okay, I think the shopping mall is the best mall in our city. Absolutely. That restaurant, okay, perfect. Yes, very nice. 63, in my opinion, that is the funniest. The funny, that's not, this is not neither a superlative, neither a comparative, right? So I cannot say that. The funnier, no, because it's a superlative, we say the funniest. Yesterday was the hottest day, was the hottest. That road is the most dangerous, absolutely. Most danger, we're not changing anything. We have to change is the most dangerous. Okay, here one, this I'm missing the most. I'm missing the. I only have the, I don't have most dangerous. Okay, very good, very good. Here, we never watched that TV program. It's the most boring. Yuck, that was the worst cake I've ever ate in my life. I've ever eaten in my life. Worst, it cannot be because that's not a comparative. The worst is a superlative, so that's why. And that's what we're gonna have, okay? So let's change, in this case, let's change, in this case, into our topic, okay? Let's go back to the platform. Okay, so this is what we're gonna have, okay? Let's continue then. Okay, so rewrite the sentences so they mean the same as, use as, and as. Okay, so what do we have? Number one, Adam is shorter than Jerry. Jerry isn't. We have to use as and as. Okay, first of all, what is the adjective? Where is the adjective, by the way?
Shorter.
Short. I mean short, only short. Okay, because shorter is a comparative way. Okay, so how can I say that Jerry is than Adam? I mean, Jerry is taller than Adam, supposedly. But how can I communicate the same idea by using as?
Isn't short as Adam.
Isn't as short as Adam. Isn't as short as Adam. Very nice. Okay, we have your bag is nicer than mine. My bag
Isn't as nice as mine.
my bag or as yours?
Ah, yours.
As yours isn't as nice as yours. Very nice. Tokyo is bigger than London. London isn't
as big as Tokyo.
as big as Tokyo. Very nice. Tennis is more popular than cricket. Cricket isn't as popular than, I'm sorry, as tennis. Okay, what about number 5? Children learn languages faster than adults. Adults, we have don't. So what do we have? So don't. Anybody?
Don't as
As
learn.
fast.
We have to use the verb. We have to put the verb first. This is a little bit tricky. So we have adult, don't learn
Fast.
languages as fast as who? As children. Okay, so do you see? Adults don't learn languages as fast as children. The only change that I did is instead of using directly an adjective, I included a verb. And therefore, because I have an auxiliary right here, I have to put a verb next to it. Okay. What about number 9? Okay, I work harder than you.
You don't work as hard as I do.
As hard
as
I do. As hard as I do. Okay, as hard as I do. Perfect, very nice. Okay, or you can say you don't work as hard as me. It can be as well. England played better than France. France didn't.
France didn't play as well as England.
As big England.
As well as England. Very nice. Yes. France didn't play as well, or you can say as good. Because well and good, they have the same comparative. Well, better, good, better. Okay. Didn't play as good as England. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see if we are wrong or we are absolutely right. Which one is the one? Okay, yes, do you see? We can say as hard as me, or you don't work as hard as I do. Okay? Even though the platform says this is wrong, when it comes to the native speakers and when it comes to the normal daily life communication, that statement is good. It's fine. Because I am saying, hey, you don't work as hard as I do. Or you can say you don't work as hard as me. That's the idea. And in this case, France didn't play as good as England. I am saying as well. Okay, as well as good, it can be the same thing. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Okay, so let's continue, people. Okay, we have write the missing words. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, so listening track. Okay, nice. Let's see. Okay, so you're going to listen to an expert talking about how to live your life more slowly. Look at her 5 main tips. Write the missing words. Okay, so let's pay attention to it.
2.42.
Can you listen? Yes? Okay.
Today we talk to Laurel Reese, who's writing a book about how to live more slowly. She's going to give us 5 useful tips.
My first tip is something which is very simple to say but more difficult to do in practice. Whatever you're doing, just try to slow down and enjoy it. If you are walking somewhere, try to walk more slowly. If you're driving, make yourself drive more slowly. It doesn't matter what you're doing, cooking, having a shower, exercising in the gym. Just slow down and really enjoy the moment. We all try to do too many things that we just don't have time for. So my second tip is make a list of the 3 things which are most important for you, your priorities in life. Then when you've made your list, make sure that you spend time doing those things. Imagine, for example, that your 3 things are your family, reading, and playing sports. Then make sure that you spend enough time with your family, that you have space in your life for reading, and that you have time to do sports. And forget about trying to do other things that you haven't got time for. Tip number 3 is don't try to do 2 things at the same time. The worst thing you can do is to multitask. So, for example, don't read your emails while you're talking to a friend on the phone. If you do that, you aren't really focusing on your emails or your friend, and you aren't going to feel very relaxed either. Tip number 4 is very simple. Once a day, every day, sit down and do nothing for half an hour. For example, go to a cafe and sit outside, or go to a park and sit on a bench. Turn off your phone so that nobody can contact you, and then just sit and watch the world go by. This will really help you to slow down. Okay, my 5th and final tip. One of the most relaxing things you can do is to be near water, or even better, to be on water. So if you live near a lake or river, go and sit by the river or go boating. If you live near the sea, go and sit on the beach. Relax and listen to the sound of the wind and the water. You will feel your body and mind slowing down as the minutes go past.
Those sounds like a really useful tips, especially when we feel stressed. Okay, so my question is, did you get the answers? Yes, or shall I play one more time? One more
I
time.
have it.
You have it? Anybody else? You'll have it? Yes? Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's see then. Okay, so number 1, whatever you're doing, just try to
Slow down.
slow
Down.
slow down. Okay, I put another word that wasn't. Slow down, enjoy it. Thank you so much. What about number 2? Make a list of 3 things which are
Most important.
Most important.
most important for you. Okay, very nice. Don't try to do
Many things.
many
Two.
things. I would say 2
Two
things. 2 things at the same time. 2 things at the same time. Okay. Sit down and do
Nothing.
nothing. Okay. I enjoyed this one a lot. Okay. And what about number 5? Be near
Water.
water. Okay. Let's check it out. We absolutely rock it. Okay. Yes, we did. Okay. So, especially the ones that I normally apply, the ones that I normally use for me to feel like relaxed. Unfortunately, I cannot be near water, because if I want to be near water, the closest water that I have is a river. And unfortunately, I don't want to go to a river because it's like half an hour, almost like an hour driving. So absolutely not. Okay. The ones that I normally apply are number 4. I sometimes, because especially being a teacher, you might think that it's an easy task, but trust me, it is not, because you have to do many things at the same time. Okay. One thing that helps you a lot, even though it's not right to do it, is multitasking. You have to answer emails. You have to check evaluations. You have to check assignments on the platforms. You have to contact parents. You have to plan stuff. You have to develop your own lessons, and so on and so forth. But sometimes you get too much. You feel like you are too much. And one of the things that I normally apply is I sit down and I do nothing. I just grab my cup of coffee, and that's it. Or which is not a cup, which is a mug actually. But I just try to sit down and relax for a bit, especially when I have been like stressed under pressure for like really long periods of time. Okay. Number 3, I cannot say that I cannot try. I mean, I try not to do 2 things at the same time, but unfortunately my job requires it. So I have to be looking at this and this and this at the same time. Okay. I do make a list. I prioritize the things that I have to do throughout my day. Okay. I do prioritize which one I have to do first, second, and third. And unfortunately, even though I have been trying to slow down for a bit and enjoy it, sometimes you can do that. I mean, it's not a matter of you not being responsible with yourself, but it's more a matter of I have many things to do that I cannot slow down. Because if I slow down, that means that I wouldn't be achieving, or I wouldn't be sending things that I'm supposed to be sending. So that's the problem. All right. And yes, pretty much. Okay, so before we jump into the next question, okay, I want to ask you, what are the things that you usually do? I mean, the ones that you have on the list. What works for you? Do you be near water? Do you sit down and do nothing? What works for you? For each one of you, actually, because each one of us are different.
In my case, I listen to music.
Okay, I listen to music. Okay, anything else which you see on the list that perhaps works for you? For example, for me, works number 4, and sometimes number 1 and number 2. So number 1, 2, and 4 for me definitely work. Sometimes number 1, but definitely 2 and 4. What about the rest?
I think that the 2 is more important. Make a list of 3 things which are the most important for you. It's about my career. I need to be organized.
Exactly. Medicine is one of those few careers that if you don't organize your time, it's gonna turn out to be impossible. So either you learn how to be organized or you learn how to be organized. Okay, you ain't got no choice, right? Anybody else? Jocelyn, what about you? What are the things from the list that works for you? That they really work for you? For example, you can say number 2, maybe you make a list. Okay, for example, for Bianca works number 2. Okay, what about for you? Jocelyn? No, she's not. All right. Soila, what about you? What works for you? What are the things that works for you? The ones that we have on the list, for example. Soila, you here? Yes? Okay, Jennifer. What about you, Jennifer? What are the things that works for you? The ones that we have on the list.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, for example, what are the things that you do so you live your life more slowly? The things that we have here on the list. What things you do so you live your life more slowly? For example, for me, works number 4. I sometimes have to sit down and do nothing, so my brain can just relax for a bit. And number 2, I have to make a list all the time. So what actually works for you?
Number 5, we need water.
Okay, be near water. Okay, nice. Okay, let me see anybody else. Okay, Karina, what about you? What works for you?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, what works for you? Number 4, for example. I mean, how do you live your life more slowly? That's my question.
I don't try to do 2 things at the same time.
Okay, that's a good observation. Jairo, what about you? Thank you. What about you? What do you do so you live your life more slowly?
Is New York life.
No, I mean, what do you do? What do you do so you live your life more slowly? What do you do? From the list, you have to choose one activity that you do that helps you to live your life more slowly. What do you do so you can live your life more slowly? That was my question.
No.
No. Ok. ¿Qué actividad usted hace para que usted viva su vida de manera más relajada, más lenta? The ones you have on the list.
Is watch TV. Is my playing is gamer in computer.
Okay, playing sometimes. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes, don't try to do this thing at the same time, teacher. Okay, yes, got you. Don't worry. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's take a look before we go on break, all right? Okay, so, okay, this is another writing activity. Okay, so I want you to listen carefully. And with that activity, we go on break. We compare the answers and we go on break, all right? So let's see.
2.42. Today we talk to Laurel Reese, who's writing a book about how to live more slowly. She's going to give us 5 useful tips.
My first tip is something which is very simple to say but more difficult to do in practice. Whatever you're doing, just try to slow down and enjoy it. If you are walking somewhere, try to walk more slowly. If you're driving, make yourself drive more slowly. It doesn't matter what you're doing, cooking, having a shower, exercising in the gym. Just slow down and really enjoy the moment. We all try to do too many things that we just don't have time for. So my second tip is make a list of the 3 things which are most important for you, your priorities in life. Then when you've made your list, make sure that you spend time doing those things. Imagine, for example, that your 3 things are your family, reading, and playing sports. Then make sure that you spend enough time with your family, that you have space in your life for reading, and that you have time to do sports. And forget about trying to do other things that you haven't got time for. Tip number 3 is don't try to do 2 things at the same time. The worst thing you can do is to multitask. So, for example, don't read your emails while you're talking to a friend on the phone. If you do that, you aren't really focusing on your emails or your friend, and you aren't going to feel very relaxed either. Tip number 4 is very simple. Once a day, every day, sit down and do nothing for half an hour. For example, go to a cafe and sit outside, or go to a park and sit on a bench. Turn off your phone so that nobody can contact you, and then just sit and watch the world go by. This will really help you to slow down. Okay, my fifth and final tip. One of the most relaxing things you can do is to be near water, or even better, to be on water. So if you live near a lake or river, go and sit by the river or go boating. If you live near the sea, go and sit on the beach, relax, and listen to the sound of the wind and the water. You will feel your body and mind slowing down as the minutes go past.
Okay, so what do we have? Can you give me one example that she mentioned? Whatever you're doing, just try to slow down and enjoy. For example, she gave one example about it. She mentioned if you're walking, walk slowly. Okay. Or if you're driving, drive slowly. Okay. What about number 2? Make a list of 3 things which are important for you. Okay. What example did she mention about it? She gave an actual example about it. Do you remember? No? Okay. Okay. So in this case, she was mentioning have you ever heard the phrase to-do list with the important things for you? Okay. So you do a to-do list and you see, okay, I have to do this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, and that's how you develop that. Okay. What about number 3?
While you are checking the email, you can talk with your friend.
When you are checking email, you cannot talk with your friends. Okay, yes, that was a very good example. Okay, what about number 4? Sit down, do nothing for half an hour every day. Any example? She mentioned that you can sit in a bench at a park and look how the life go. Look how life goes by. Okay. In other words, we can sit in a bench and just see how life work, how life in this case on a bench. Okay, and we can see how life goes by. Okay, be near water. Any example that she mentioned? It's almost at the end here, by the way. You have it right here.
If you live near the sea or near the river.
So if you live near a sea or river, go sit by the river or sit at the beach. Okay. Okay, so when you listen to the audio, you have to give me the examples that they mentioned in the video, in the audio track, right? Once I have finished with that part, you just send it, and of course, I have to check it about for myself. Okay, something like this will appear, will show up. Okay. Okay, people, it's time to go on break. Okay, so in this case, remember that we have the same amount of hours of minutes in this case. I'm sorry, the same of minutes. And once we come back, we, in this case, recovered the last part of the class, right? So we continue with our class. Okay. So far we have finished. Okay, with the last exercise that we did before we went on break. Okay. We have finished the unit number 5A, and right now we're moving on to the unit number 5B. All right. Okay, so hopefully we finished the unit number 5, 5C, 5B, and 5C. If not, we can do it by tomorrow. Okay, so that's pretty much the idea of what we are going to do today. Okay, so in this case, we checked some information about the superlative, which is information that we discussed before we went on break. Okay, and not only that part, but in this case, we saw some information regarding how they change. Okay, so let's see what we are going to have for today. Okay. Okay, let me pull in this case the class presentation that I have prepared. Give me 2 seconds, I can find the presentation. Okay, so here we are. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes. Yep. Okay, so in this case, people, we are going to mix these the tense that we have so far checked with the ones that we have seen previously. Okay, if you remember that we talked about the present perfect, which was the previous grammar topic that we checked a few weeks ago. Okay, we talked about the present perfect. Okay, and we stated some ideas. Okay, idea number 1, we are going to use the present perfect to state experiences. Okay, idea number 2, the present perfect does not specify the time. Okay, in other words, means it's general. Idea number 3, okay, all the verbs go in the past participle form. Okay, for example, we have eat, we have eaten. Okay, idea number 4, the present perfect uses some expressions such as since and for. Okay, we use since to a specific or for a specific date in time. Okay, for example, I have worked here since 2012. For general implication about time. For example, I have worked here for 12 years. Okay, so those expressions are the ones that we are commonly used, okay? But in this case, we are going to use the present perfect along with the superlatives and comparative, okay? In this case, mostly superlatives. Why not comparative? Because remember that we are going to use comparative to compare two things, okay? So when I use superlatives, I compare thousands and thousands and thousands of things. That means that in terms of comparison, superlative, they cover a wider range, okay? Superlative, they cover a wider range of things, meaning that I can compare things, okay, by using superlative, okay? In this case, the change that we are going to see, the information that we are going to see goes along with ever, okay, which are pretty much the basic questions that we are going to have in this case, okay, ever, if we have ever done something, okay, and such, right? So in this case, information that we have so far right here is the following, okay? Okay, so in this case, as you guys can see, okay, the adjectives, since we're talking about adjectives, all the questions that we do, including the ones in the present perfect, they are going to be following up the same line, okay? Therefore, whenever I have question, in this case, in the present perfect, but including in the same structure, the present perfect remains the same. The only change that I do is pretty much the one that I have for the superlative, okay? In this case, I have to take the adjective and put it in the superlative form, which is pretty much the information that we see and that we're looking at the screen right now, okay? Some of the words that we are going to see, that we're going to discuss right here, are the ones that we have in the screen. Weird, strange, odd, and peculiar, okay? Even though they might be seen as synonyms, indeed they are synonyms, okay? Each one of those words, they change depending on the context that we apply them to, okay? So how do they change? Okay, how do they actually change? Okay, sorry. Okay, here. Okay, let me pull up the notes. Okay. Okay, so here we have. Okay, I want to circle. Okay, perfect. So if you guys see this part right here and this part at the end, okay, all of them, it doesn't matter which one you're using, all of them, they have to follow up the same structure, okay, especially when we have questions with WH questions, such as what, okay, we have such as who, for example, we have what, okay, we have what once again, okay. It can also happen with who, with where, with when, with why, okay. But in this case, the implication that I have to be aware of is that whenever I am using either of them, all the verbs, which are pretty much adjectives, I have to put them in the way they should be put. Okay, what is the most? Peculiar, 3 syllables. Peculiar, 3 syllables. Therefore, they have 3 syllables. I have to put the most peculiar. Okay, so when it comes to superlatives and present perfect, there's not much to talk about because the only change that I have to be aware of is in terms of the organization. Okay, so in this case, I can give you this structure. If you're asking in this case, you're going to put in this case. If you want to include the WH question, you can do it. Okay, a WH question, you can do it. But keep in mind that depending on the WH question that you use, you will have to make some changes or rearrangements, especially on the organization. All right. So after you put the WH question, you have to use the adjective in this case, the adjective, but the adjective has to be in the superlative form. Okay. What's the biggest? What's the oldest? What's the most funniest? Okay. After, okay, sometimes you have to put the noun. Okay, what's the most funniest building you have ever been to? Okay, the noun. After the noun, we are going to put have or has. Remember that have or has are not the verbs; they are auxiliary verbs. And in this case, you are going to put the pronoun. Okay, if it's he, she, it, whatever you use. Okay, and last but not least, the question mark. Okay, if you notice, the only change that I have to do, the only change that I gotta do in terms of pretty much the context, it's exactly the same thing. Okay, it's exactly the same thing. So my recommendation, okay, will be always try to put as much information as you can. Okay, and obviously not only that part, but pretty much the information that we all see and that we all be aware of. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, the structure number 2 that we're going to use, okay, is pretty much exactly the same thing, but with only one simple rearrangement. Okay, we can say, for example, let's see, without the double question, we can say, okay, we put this up. Oops, sorry, I mean, it's that part. Yes, okay. Structure number 2. Okay, we have the subject. I'm sorry, we have the have or has. The verb, the past participle. The superlative adjective. And the question mark. Okay, that's the only change that we're gonna do. All right. So in this case, there's not much to explain regarding this specific topic because it's really simple. The only thing that we have to be aware of are the changes. Okay, are pretty much the changes that we do. Okay, so there's not much to explain about this. Okay, so people up to this point, questions. The only thing that you have to be aware of is the structure. That's it. Okay, because the rest of it is pretty much the superlative we normally use. That's it. Okay, but the rest is pretty much present perfect structure and superlative, which is the one that I have sent you in the chat. Okay, that's pretty much the idea. All right, so let's see. Okay, let's get back to the platform. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. Okay. Okay, so match the photos in city. Which European countries are the cities in? What do you know about them? Have you been to any of them? So let's see what we have. Okay, so let's see what do we have. Okay. Okay, so we have match the photos with European countries are the cities in. What do you know about them? Okay, so what do we have? Okay, what do you think, which country or which city is number 1? Based on the picture, just on the picture. What do you think? Which country can it be?
Dublin,
Dublin. Okay.
maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, yes. Okay, number 2 is really easy, right?
Venecia.
Yeah.
No, it's not Venezia, Venice. Because
Venice.
Venice, exactly, Venice. Okay, Venice. Okay. What about number 3? What do you think that one looks like?
Paris.
Paris. Okay. We have Paris. Okay. What about number 4?
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Okay. And I guess number 5 is Copenhagen. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if we are right or we are absolutely wrong. Okay.
Paris was 5.
Maybe. Okay, 4. Okay, so number 2.
Wow.
Number 2 okay, number 1. No, wait, hold up. This is absolutely wrong. It cannot be like that. Because there's no way it can be. Oh, where can I change this? Now let me take this one exercise and reported it. Because that's not right. I mean the picture doesn't match with the words. Okay, let me take a look once again because that's not right. Venice is not number 1. Venice is number 2. Paris is number 3. Is absolutely right. Copenhagen, number 2. And Dublin, number 5. Okay, let me report it this one. It's way easier. So I reported it, and that's it. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this one we're gonna leave this one in standby. Okay, once I report this one and Alfonso tells me that it has been fixed, I tell you to do it. Okay, otherwise when you do it, skip this one. All right. Okay, so let's see what do we have. Okay, so read the article and complete it with the list of the cities. Okay, so let's see what do we have. All capital cities are unfriendly, or are they? Okay. Big cities often have a reputation for being rude, unfriendly places for tourists. Sunday Times journalist Tim Moore went to 4 cities: London, Rome, Paris, and New York. To find out if this was true, he went dressed as a foreign tourist and did 3 not very scientific tests to see which city had the friendliest and most polite inhabitants. The 3 tests were the photo test. Tim asked people in the streets to take this photo. Not just one photo, but several, with his hat, without his hat. Okay, with his hat, and without his hat. Did he find someone to do it? Test number 2, the shopping test. Tim bought something in a shop and gave the shop assistant too much money. Did the shop assistant give back the extra money? And number 3, the accident test. Tim pretended to fall over in the street. Did anybody come to help him? Okay, so let's see. Okay, Travel Service gives its verdict on European cities. London is the dirtiest city in Europe, says a new survey by travel website TripAdvisor, but it has the best public parks and the best nightlife. According to the survey, almost 2,400 travelers. Okay, so let's see. Which city is the most romantic city?
Paris.
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 Paris. Exactly. Paris. The cleanest, or the cleanest, actually. What do you think? Which one will be the cleanest city in the world? Any guesses?
Dublin.
Dublin, okay. Has the best dressed people. I mean, people who wears like really fancy clothes.
Barcelona.
Barcelona, okay. Has the best architecture.
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, okay. And Venice, okay. Let's see, let's check it real quick. Let's see if we're right or we are absolutely wrong. We are wrong. Okay, my question is, what is the correct answer then? Okay, let's check. Let's check about. Okay. Okay, so if this is wrong, my question is, what is the correct answer? Another one to report. Nice. Let's put this one right here. All right. Okay, let's continue, people. Okay, these exercises, if it doesn't show what exactly do we have wrong, don't do it until I tell you so, because you're gonna have 0. Okay, so in order to avoid that, let's continue with the ones that we know for sure. Okay, so complete a sentence with a superlative. Okay, this is easy peasy. Okay, so let's see, what do we have? Okay, example, is this the biggest city in the world? Perfect. What about Thais are, I mean Thais, I mean the people who live in Thailand, by the way. Okay, Thais are we have polite, and we have
The
to are
the most politest.
the most polite people. If you say politest, you are using already the most, so you don't need to put politest. Okay, that's why.
Okay.
Yesterday was
Hottest.
the
Hottest
hottest.
day.
The hottest. Nice. This is that's a regular adjective, actually.
This is the worst.
The worst. Nice. Worst and not worst. Okay, it's not the same. She is friendly. That's a long adjective. Okay, what do we put if we have a long adjective?
The friendliest.
Is the most friendly.
The most friendly. You cannot say the friendliest because we have friendly. Friendly. Okay.
It's an adjective.
And yes, the most friendly. Okay. What about number 5?
The most
important.
The most important. Nice. The most important. Very good. Okay, what about number 6?
The best.
It cannot be goddess.
But it is.
That's irregular.
It is the best.
The best. Very nice. The best
best.
time to visit New England is autumn. Okay. What about number 7? Ulaanbaatar is one of the polluted. 3 syllables. Polluted. What do we have to add? With 3 syllables.
The most polluted.
The most polluted. The most polluted. Okay, what about number 8? What do we have?
The farthest.
The farthest. Okay, with A or with U? What do you think? With A or with U? What do you think?
With what?
Well, it can be sometimes both, but it depends on the accent. Do you remember that I told you that? So you can say the farthest like this. The farthest I've ever flown is to Bali, or with A. Okay. What about number 9? That's definitely funny.
Was definitely the most funny.
Funny is one syllable, but the funny has a Y letter at the end. What happens with the Y letter at the end? What do we put?
Funniest.
The funniest. Very nice. Yes, the funniest. And what about 10? Rob's daughter are all pretty, but I think Emily, again, one syllable adjective.
The funniest?
The prettiest. The prettiest. Okay, the prettiest. Okay, so let's check. Nine. The most friendly. We say the most friendly. The friendliest, yes. But I usually say the most friendly. Because friendly. Okay. Sometimes people will say the friendliest girl at school, but I normally use the most friendly. The most friendly person that I know. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Okay, let's continue then. Okay, this is the one that we have so far talking about. Okay, read sentences with a superlative plus ever and the present perfect. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, write sentences with a superlative plus ever plus the present. Okay, we have eight good film. I see. It's been the best film I've ever seen. Okay, what about number 2? How can I create that one? Any guesses? We have to use the word ever, by the way.
Teacher, in the number 1.
Number 1.
It
is the hottest.
It's the hottest
country.
Nice. Keep going.
I have been.
I have ever been to.
I have ever been to.
I have ever been to. Remember that you've been to a country, you don't been in a country. It's the hottest. Okay, it's the hottest country I have ever been to. Okay, what about number 2? She unfriendly person I met. I meet actually. She is.
She's the most unfriendly person I have ever met.
The most unfriendly
person I have ever met.
person I have ever or I've ever met. Okay, let me use contractions in this case. I've ever been to, I've ever met. Okay. Okay, what about the next one? What do we have? It's
the easiest.
the easiest. Very nice. The easiest.
Exam he's ever done.
He has or she. He's ever done.
Done.
Very nice, Oila. Perfect. What about number 4? They are or they're
They are the most expensive
expensive trousers. Very nice. Yes, trousers.
trousers I have ever bought.
I have ever bought. Thank you so much. Yes, I have ever bought. Thank you. What about number 5? It is or it's the
most long.
Longest.
Long is one syllable. Long. So what happened with the one syllable ones? What do we add? We add est, right? It's the longest film I have ever watched. Very nice. Watch. Perfect. Very good. What about number 6?
He is the most attractive man I be ever seen.
I have ever seen. Very nice. Yes, I have ever seen. Very good. Yes, perfect. Okay, what about number 7? It's
the worst
meal
I have ever eaten.
I have ever eaten. Yes, watch out. I have ever eaten. Very nice. Okay. What about number 8?
He is the most interesting teacher I have ever had.
Interesting teacher I have ever had. Very nice, people. Perfect. Okay, what about number 9? It's
the most
exciting job. I or we? Okay. We have
ever done.
We have ever done. Okay, remember that we cannot say we ever have done. Okay, because if you say we ever have done, that's a question. Okay, and we have questions right here, unfortunately. Okay, I am thinking about putting the unfriendliest. Okay, let me see. Let me put the unfriendliest person I know I have ever met. Okay, let's see. If that's correct, perfect. Okay. Okay, it's the hottest. Oh, it's the coma. It's the coma. Here is a coma. I don't know why that does it have a coma. Okay, here's the coma. Do you see the coma?
Pero en las otras no tiene coma.
For me, it doesn't make sense. Believe me. You don't know how many times I have struggled with this platform, and doesn't make sense. Okay, but somehow that's the way that she. Okay, I was right. She's the most unfriendly. I was right. Yes, because unfriendly, 3 syllables. Yes, she's the most unfriendly person. I don't know why did I change it? Yes. Okay. I ever met. Yes. Okay. So when you do it, you know what to put. Okay. The coma. I don't know why. And the most. Okay. That's it. The coma and the most. That's it. All right. All right. Let's keep going, people. Okay. Okay, in this case, we have also pronunciation. Remember that every single class, we're trying to reinforce the pronunciation as possible, all right? And let's see what do we have for today, right? So let's see. Okay, so we have choose a stressed syllable in the bold adjectives. Okay, what is the most beautiful city that you have ever been to. Okay, so which syllable is the stress? Beautiful. What do you think? Beautiful.
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 Okay, once again, beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So beautiful.
View.
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 Okay.
View.
Expensive.
Fence.
Expensive. Okay.
Fence.
Impatient.
Pain. No. In.
Impatient.
In.
Impatient.
Pain.
Pay. Okay. Generous.
Yeah.
The J. Okay. We have, listen carefully. We have frightening. Frightening.
Fried. Fried.
Fried. Exciting.
Side.
Exciting. Okay. Exercise.
Side.
Okay. Interesting.
In.
Interesting. Romantic.
Man.
Romantic. Or stick. What do you think? Tick. Okay. I like
Man.
romantic movies.
Man.
Okay, let's see. Let's check it out. Okay, let's see. Absolutely, we are absolutely right, of course. Okay. Okay, I know that my pronunciation is different because my pronunciation is American, but I want you to listen to how British people pronounce those words, right?
2.44. 1.
What's the most beautiful city you've ever been to?
2. What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought?
3.
Who's the most impatient person you know?
4.
Who's the most generous person in your family?
5.
What's the most frightening film you've ever seen?
6.
What's the most exciting sport you've ever done?
7.
What's the most interesting book you've read recently?
8.
What's the most romantic restaurant you've ever been to?
Okay, so you see that? That's why. Okay, British people, they pronounce the T really stressed. Romantic. Okay, they don't say frightening because American, they tend to shorten the words a lot. We say frightening, they say frightening. Frightening. Okay, we say exciting, they say exciting. We say interesting, they say interesting. Interesting. Okay. We call impatient, they call impatient. Okay, expensive, normal, beautiful. Okay, but sometimes British people, they tend to stress, especially the T letters, which are the ones that we hear, we listen more often. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, how well does London do in each test? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we have listened to Tim Moore talking about what happened in London. How well does London do in each test? Okay, so let's see.
2.45.
First, I did the photo test. I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road, and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, No time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street, and I bought a key ring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the Tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look where you're going?"
Okay, so in this case, we have to determine if the photo test that he did went very well, not very well, and such. Okay, so do you got the answers or do you want me to play once again? One more time? Okay, so let's see.
2.45.
First, I did the photo test. I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road, and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, No time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street, and I bought a key ring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the Tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look where you're going?"
Okay, so what do you think about the photo test? How did he go? Went very well, not very well?
Not very well.
Not very well.
Not very well. Okay, what about the shopping test?
Very well.
Very
Very well, yes, of course, because the man gave it to the shop assistant £100 when it was supposed to pay only £40. Okay, and what about the accident test?
Not very well.
Not very well, because the man didn't help the other man. He just said, "Look where you're going." That's it. Okay, so let's see. Let's confirm the answer. Yes. Okay, not very well, and not very well. Okay, that's what we got so far. Okay, let's continue and let's see if we can finish this part today. We have a couple of minutes yet. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so we have, okay, this is a reading exercise again, writing actually. Okay, and we have to listen to the same thing. Okay, so let's see what we have.
2.45.
First, I did the photo test. I was near Charing Cross Station. I stopped a man who was walking quite slowly down the road, and I said, "Excuse me, could you take my photo?" The man said, No time for that," and just continued walking. Then I asked a businessman in a grey suit who was walking towards the station. He took one photo, but when I asked him to take another one, he walked away quickly. Next, it was the shopping test. I went to a tourist shop in Oxford Street, and I bought a key ring and a red bus. The red bus was very expensive. The total price was £40. I gave the man £100. He gave me £60 back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went down into the Tube, the London Underground. As I went down the stairs, I fell over and sat on the floor. A man immediately stopped and looked down at me. I thought he was going to help me, but he didn't. He just said, "Why don't you look where you're going?"
Okay, so who did he ask first in the photo test? A man.
Excuse me, can you take me a photo?
No, I mean who? Who did he ask? Who was the first person that he asked? Mm-hmm. It was a man walking on the street. Okay. What did the person say? He said, no time for that. Do you remember? Okay.
Yes.
Who did he ask next? A
He
man,
asked businessman.
a business, or a man in a gray suit. Okay, a businessman. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's put a business. A businessman. Okay, and what happened?
He walked away quickly.
He walked away. Nice, perfect. Okay, the shopping test. Where was the tourist shop?
Oxford Street.
Oxford Street. Very nice. It was Oxford Street. Okay, how much did he give? How much money did the bus and key ring cost?
40 pounds.
It was 40 pounds. Yes, it was 40 pounds. How much did he give the man? He gave 100.
16.
Remember, I gave the man 100 pounds here. Okay, perfect. Okay, did he get the right change?
No.
No, how come?
No, yes, 60,
Yes, of
60 pounds.
course. Yes,
Right,
of
yes.
course. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You give me 100, I give you 60 back. Okay. Okay, what about number 3? Where did he do the accident test? The London Underground. Okay. Did anyone help him?
No.
No. No, they didn't. No. We didn't say no, nobody did. And what did the man say?
He said, why didn't you look where you're going?
Why don't you look where you're going? Exactly.
Pobrecito.
Yeah, poor little thing. Okay. Has anybody tell you that when you have an accident?
My mom.
Your mom? Really? Wow.
Yes.
Well, in my case, with my sister, if I fall over, first of all, she laughs for about 5 minutes, and then she helps me. Okay. The exact same situation with my cousins, and that's worse because when I want to stand up, they wouldn't let me. So that's worse. I don't know which one is worse. If you're going out with my sister, because if I fall over, she laughs for 5 minutes, or going out with my cousins that they won't let me stand up. So I don't know which one is worst. Okay. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Okay, these are the answers, by the way. Okay, here you display the answers. Okay, so when you do it, you know what to do. All right. Let's finalize the revision. Okay, and let's keep continue. Okay, we have look at the map, then read the description of reading and choose the correct words or phrases. Okay, let's see what do we have so far. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the map is not clear But
El lunes, mami, que me pague.
I'm gonna try to make it bigger for you, okay? This is the work, right? Oh no, student, nice. Okay, let me make it bigger so we can all see what we have so far. A little bit up. Where's the map? Where's the map? Has to be around here. We don't have the map, really? Yeah, we do. 5B. No, unfortunately we don't. Well, here's the map, but I don't think that's the right one. Okay, anyways. Okay, let's continue. Let's see. I know that you are not going to be able to see it, but let's see if we can just try to do it, okay? Look at the map, then read a description of reading and choose the correct word or phrases, okay? Reading is the town, which is here, reading, is a town in the south of north of England.
South. So.
Okay, south, okay, in the south of England. Okay, or north of England. What do you think?
South.
Okay, south. On the River Thames, okay, or on the south coast. What do you think?
River Thames.
Okay, River Thames, okay. It is about 40 miles east or west. Remember, east, right, west, left.
East.
West.
It's in the west. It's in the west. It's in the left side. Okay. It's a large town, a medium-sized town, or a small town.
Large.
Is large? Is it big? Does it look like big? What do you think? Is it big or small? Because for me, it doesn't look like big.
Big.
Is big? Really? Look at London. Look London and look Reading. Which one is bigger, London or Reading?
Small. Small.
Small, right? So let's see. Let's see. Just for looking at the map. Okay, we are just looking at the map. Okay, so let's see. Which one did we mistake? In this case, it was large. Large? How does it large? London is large. Okay, if you say so.
2.46. Where is it? How big is it? Reading is a town in the south of England on the River Thames. It is about 40 miles west of London. It is a large town and it has a population of about 250,000. It is famous for its music festival, which is one of the biggest in the UK.
Okay, 250,000 people. I don't think that's large. I would say a large population or a large town, at least 500,000 or 1 million people living in that specific place. But that's a quarter. That's not even half of it. So for me, it doesn't look like it's half. Okay? Okay, people, okay, we're gonna stop right here. Okay, we're gonna stop right here. I am going to report these books. Okay, this, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books to Alfonso, so he can help us out, okay? These ones, the ones that are on the platform, the ones that are here in this case, try not to do it until I tell you so. When you say it's fixed, you can do them, okay? But otherwise, don't do them because I have to, well, I have to fix it first, okay? So you guys can do it, okay? So meanwhile, don't do it until I tell you so, right? So because it's gonna be, you're not gonna get a good score. So my recommendation will be always wait until I tell you so, and that's it. All right. So people, before I keep going, okay, let me give me just two minutes, Bianca. Okay. So we have in this case people missing. Yes. Okay. So Jennifer Lenny is here. Okay. Leah is not here. Okay, so let's see. All right. All right. Okay, let's see. All right. So, okay, Bianca, do you want to say something? Yes?
Yes, it's about the clip video. I'm gonna say it in Spanish for being more. Okay, yo creo que grabé el video o sea, dentro de la plataforma, pero no dentro del grupo que era. Entonces creo que ese fue el problema. Entonces no sé si haya problema en que
So
yo lo...
your video should be here, I guess.
No creo que esté ahí porque nunca me dio la oportunidad de poderlo subir. O sea, se cargaba hasta el 100% y decía, no, tu video no pudo poder subirse.
Really? Okay, let me just open that up real quick once again.
Mister, yo también tengo el mismo problema. Yo estoy en otro grupo. Arribita.
Really? That's weird.
Acá.
But when did you record it? When did you record the video? That's important because if you record it by Friday, that's why that wouldn't let you upload it. Let me check it out. October 28th.
Ahí estamos. No hay problema que esté ahí en ese grupo, o sea, que estemos fuera del grupo.
No, the thing is like, it was supposed to close the deadline. It was October 27th, if I am not mistaken. The deadline was October 27th. Let me see.
Was yesterday.
Yes, the deadline was yesterday. So if you recorded it today, that means that you couldn't upload it here because it's closed.
Yo se lo subí, creo que porque no podía ni subir, estaba uniendo, era mi primera vez que utilizaba esta plataforma en la noche, como ya pasado de las 12. Yo estaba ahí peleando con la plataforma.
That's why.
Porque yo primero pensé que tenía que grabar